Have you ever walked into a room, paused, and then stood there for a moment wondering, what did I come in here for? Or found yourself struggling to remember the name of a person you just met, even though they just said it a second ago? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, those little lapses in memory start to creep in more often. They can be frustrating, even a little scary. But here's the good news. Just like we work out our bodies to stay strong, we can also work out our brains to stay sharp. You see, your brain is like a muscle when you use it. Challenge it and keep it engaged. It stays in shape. And the best part? You don't need fancy apps, expensive programs, or a PhD in neuroscience to do it. There are simple, fun, and surprisingly effective brain games that can keep your mind alert and focused, especially after 60. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 brain games that actually work. Not the gimmicks, not the fluff, just real. Practical ways to stay mentally sharp, supported by science and used by people just like you. These aren't just fun distractions. They're exercises that help boost memory, improve concentration, and even protect against cognitive decline. Let's start with the first one, and it's probably sitting right on your bookshelf. Crossword puzzles. Now, before you say, "Oh, I've done those for years," let me ask, when was the last time you tried one that really challenged you? Crossword puzzles are more than a pastime. They're word-finding, memory-searching, brain-connecting goldmines. Each time you search your memory for a clue or connect one answer to the next, your brain is firing on all cylinders. And when you struggle to remember a word but then suddenly recall its hit, it's like a little mental celebration. That effort, that process of struggling and then succeeding, is what keeps the brain active. It's not about getting every answer right, it's about the mental work it takes to get there. And the beautiful thing about crosswords is that they grow with you. You can start with the easy ones in the morning paper and gradually move to more complex puzzles that really stretch your thinking. Some people like doing them with a friend or spouse, which adds a social element that's also great for brain health. And if crosswords aren't quite your thing, let's move to something even more interactive: card games. I'm not talking about poker nights with high stakes. I'm talking about games like bridge, solitaire, gin, rummy, or even memory games with your grandkids. These aren't just games, they're strategy, focus, planning, and memory all rolled into one. Take bridge, for example. It's known as one of the most cognitively challenging card games out there. You're constantly keeping track of who played what cards are left, how to communicate with your partner, and when to play your hand. Your brain is juggling all that at once, and loving it. Even a game of solitaire works your planning skills, your ability to notice patterns, and your short-term memory. And if you've ever played a game of concentration where you flip cards to find matching pairs, you know how challenging and fun that can be. What's powerful about card games is that they engage multiple areas of the brain at once. You're using logic, strategy, memory, and even emotion because, let's face it, we all feel a little thrill when we win a hand. And if you play with others, there's an added bonus: social interaction. Talking, laughing, and connecting with people has been shown to protect the brain as we age. So the next time you pick up a deck of cards, remember, you're not just playing, you're training your brain. Now, maybe you're someone who prefers something a bit more visuals, something that lets you move pieces, solve puzzles, and see your progress. That brings us to our next brain-boosting favorite: jigsaw puzzles. Don't let their simplicity fool you. Jigsaw puzzles are incredibly powerful when it comes to brain health. Think about it. When you sit down with a puzzle, you're scanning for colors and shapes, testing pieces, rotating them in your mind, and thinking spatially. You're using both sides of your brain, your logical side and your creative side. It's a whole brain workout that requires patience, attention, and a kind of gentle persistence. What's great is that jigsaw puzzles are calming too. You can do them with music on a cup of tea nearby, maybe with a friend helping you, or just enjoying the peace of being absorbed in a task. It slows the mind down in a good way, helping you stay focused while keeping your thoughts from drifting. And when you finally get that last piece in place, that sense of completion gives your brain a little dopamine reward. You feel good because your brain just did something amazing. These games aren't just old-fashioned fun. They're brain therapy disguised as entertainment. And the best part is, they don't require a screen, a login, or even internet access. They're things you can do with your hands, your eyes, and your mind right from the comfort of your favorite chair. But we're just getting started, because the next few brain games take things up a notch, introducing just a bit more challenge, a little more strategy, and some unexpected ways to stretch your brain even further. Because challenging your brain, dose and tea have to feel like work. It can actually be a lot of fun. And the next brain game proves just that. Let us talk about one of the most effective and surprisingly underrated ways to stretch your mental muscles. Strategy board games. Now, don't worry, you don't need to learn anything complicated. I'm talking about classics like chess, checkers, Scrabble, and even newer games like Sequence or Quirkle. These kinds of games force your brain to think ahead, make decisions, plan a few moves in advance, and stay flexible when things don't go your way. That kind of mental adaptability is what keeps your brain youthful. Take Scrabble, for instance. You're not just placing tiles, you're hunting for words, calculating points, managing your letters, and looking for opportunities on the board. That's verbal recall, math, and spatial awareness all at once. Or chess, every move you make affects the entire game. You're remembering strategies, anticipating your opponent, and adjusting your plans in real time. That's mental gymnastics, and it's incredibly powerful for keeping your brain sharp. And the best part? These games can be social or solo. You can play a quick game online, join a local board game night, or play with your grandkids and pass down a family tradition. These games often create meaningful connections, too. They spark conversation, laughter, and even a little healthy competition, which is great for mental stimulation. If board games aren't quite your style, let's take things in another direction, learning something new. Now, this might not sound like a traditional brain game, but it absolutely counts. In fact, it's one of the best ways to create new neural connections and keep your brain adaptable. When you learn a new skill, whether it's how to play a musical instrument, speak a few words in another language, or even use a new app, you're forcing your brain to create entirely new pathways. This kind of novelty is like fertilizer for your brain cells. It keeps them growing and forming fresh connections, which is key to memory, focus, and long-term cognitive health. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't matter how well you do it. What matters is that you try. You don't have to become fluent in French or a piano master. You just have to engage. Listen to a language podcast while walking. Try painting or sketching for 10 minutes in the morning. Learn a few dance steps from YouTube or fiddle with a new gadget around the house. Every small learning moment keeps your brain alive and responsive. Even reading counts. Not just skimming headlines, but reading a book that challenges you a little, introduces new ideas, or tells a story that makes you feel something. Reading stretches imagination, memory, vocabulary, and empathy all at once. And when you think about what you read, talk about it with others, or write about it in a journal. You're engaging even more deeply with your mind. The goal here isn't perfection, it's curiosity. It's waking up each day and saying, what's something new I can try today? That attitude alone can do wonders for your mental sharpness, no matter your age. And that brings us to one last, extremely simple, but shockingly effective brain game. Recall practice. That's right. Simply trying to remember something on purpose. Here's how it works. After reading a short article or watching a show, pause and ask yourself, what did I just learn? Try to recall 3 to 5 key points without looking anything up. That effort pulling information out of your memory, instead of just reviewing, it strengthens the brain more than you might think. You can also try this with daily events. At the end of your day, sit down and challenge yourself to remember what you did in the morning. Who did you talk to? What did you eat? What did you notice? That's not just memory practice, it's mindfulness. It keeps you grounded in your experiences and more aware of your daily life. This can even become a game with a loved one. Share one thing you each remember about the day, or quiz each other on a show you both watched. It turns your memory into a playful, shared experience, which again supports emotional connection and cognitive health. So whether you're matching puzzle pieces, solving crosswords, planning your next board game move, or just remembering what you had for lunch yesterday, you are actively protecting and preserving your mind. And that is something to feel good about. You don't need hours a day or a brain training app with flashing lights. What you need is a little curiosity, a few minutes of focus, and the belief that your brain still has so much more to give. Because it does. You've already taken the first step by showing interest. Now imagine what could happen if you added just one of these games to your daily routine. Not as a chore, but as something you enjoy, something that brings your brain to life again. And that's what it's all about, keeping your mind awake, alert, and engaged every day that you can. The goal isn't to have a perfect memory or to never forget names. The goal is to stay involved with your own mind, to feel capable, connected, and confident well into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Let's wrap up with a few encouraging thoughts and a reminder of what's possible. Because what you're doing here is so much more than passing time. These brain games, they're quiet acts of self-care. They're little daily promises you make to your future self to stay curious and to stay curious and to stay engaged with life. Let's take a moment to remember what we're really after. It's not about becoming a genius or never forgetting another name. It's about being able to think clearly. Remember your appointments, have great conversations. Follow a good book, or even tell a story from your past and watch someone's eyes light up. It's about living with dignity, with confidence, and with joy. That's what these 5 brain games help support, and they're not hard. They're not expensive. You don't need a subscription, a medical degree, or hours of your day. You just need to be present, to play, to engage. That's how your brain thrives by, staying in motion just like your body does. So whether you love jigsaw puzzles or chess, word games or card games, reading or learning a new song on the ukulele, what matters is that you enjoy it, that you keep doing it, that you feel alive while doing it. Because that joy, that spark, is what gives these exercises real power. Even if you start small, just 10 minutes a day of focused play, you're building mental resilience. You're strengthening memory and sharpening focus. And more than that, you're keeping a vital part of yourself active and awake. That's a gift you give not just to yourself, but to your family, your community, and everyone who cares about you. And here is the truth that not enough people say out loud. You're never too old to get better. Not physically, not emotionally, and definitely not mentally. Your brain wants to grow. It wants to stay alive and vibrant. And when you give it even the smallest challenge, it rises to meet it again and again. So don't let anyone tell you that aging is a steady decline. Not when your brain can keep learning, keep adapting, and keep surprising you. You are capable of more than you think. And every time you sit down to do a crossword, learn a word, or play a round of cards, you prove that to yourself. You're not just passing the time, you're enriching it. You're investing in your mental future, one game at a time. And what a beautiful, empowering thing that is. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite brain game? Is there a puzzle, a card game, a book, or a new hobby that lights you up and keeps your mind engaged? Share it in the comments below because your ideas might inspire someone else to try something new today. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video that supports your health, happiness, and independence. And as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for your own well-being. You're not just growing older, you're growing stronger, smarter, and more alive. One step, one game, one day at a time. Here's to living sharper, longer, and with purpose. You've got this, and your brain is cheering you on.